some of us go to a doctor or a health practitioner, and they give us either a blood test, a urine test, a stool test, a hair analysis test, a breath test, a saliva test, and they undoubtedly come back and say you have a shortage, too much of something or too little of something. And one specific thing that some of them are saying is that salt, in a high quality salt, like not a one that's table salt, but one that's right from the mineral beds where it hasn't been heated, is actually necessary to help sometimes if you have adrenal exhaustion or your ratio between sodium and something else is not right. And there are a number of people that very strongly feel that we should be needs sodium in this form in our diet. Is this appropriate for some people? Does this help with some of the mineral ratios that we get on a blood test? Does it help with adrenal exhaustion? Is there times when some people should be adding salt into their, specifically they were saying to take a table and a half a day of salt into your, with water. So please comment on that.
A tablespoon and a half?
Teaspoon and a half. Sorry,
teaspoon and a half.
Teaspoon and a half. Sorry.
Should I take a crack at it first?
There you go. Higher.
Then you could fill in.
Okay.
Sorry, Steve, but I have to insult you a little bit and say that I think that speaks to your poor choice of speakers for these conferences too. Because you have people that are really giving dangerous information and advocating blood tests and hair tests and pubic hairs and all this stuff to assign nutrient levels. It's all a bunch of horse crap. I mean, the blood levels aren't an accurate way to determine nutrient needs. You could be having almost no zinc in your body, and the blood level looks perfect. You could have, the calcium doesn't go down until the total protein goes down until you have like a cancer diagnosis. In other words, we're talking about people falsely giving people false information to sell them products and to sell them testing. And it speaks to what doctors do in general. Doctors test. They test because they have a drug to deal with that test. The person sitting in front of them is 50 pounds overweight, eating garbage, and they're worried about doing tests and treating what they can find on a test. It's like they're missing the whole point. And you can't be healthy if you don't eat a healthy diet. And the tests are secondary and not primary. The tests usually only show up something negative when really something is really wrong. And the stuff about salt is just utterly ridiculous. Let me say a couple of things here. Number one, the cause of electrolyte deficiencies is the overuse of salt. Because when you eat a high salt diet, you're sweating out salt and you're peeing out salt all day long. And whenever you sweat or go for a run or go get in the heat and you sweat, your sweat has salt in it. The body doesn't have the ability to excrete salt alone. It loses electrolytes in general when it has to get rid of the extra salt you consumed. So when you're always eliminating a lot of salt because you're eating excess salt, remember the body has a very fine line of what's normal salt in the blood. It has to maintain that level between like 135 and 140 all the time. So when you take in extra salt, you're just putting out more salt. And when you take in the right amount of salt, which natural foods that nature made contains, which gives us between around 500 to 800 milligrams a day, under 1,000 a day usually, and that's what the body needs. And then what happens when you take in that low amount of sodium long term is that you don't sweat out salt. Your sweat tastes like water, and you don't pee out salt, and you're not losing electrolytes all the time. And now when a person plays a game of basketball, they don't get a cramp in their leg because they just peed out all the potassium, magnesium, and bicarb because they had lost so much salt when they sweated. So electrolyte deficiencies are caused by the high use of sodium, mostly not the low use of sodium. The body becomes very efficient at holding on to what it needs when you eat the right amount of sodium. And excess sodium, you don't escape from the damage from excess sodium. Nobody can get away with it. When you're taking in excess sodium, you're causing inflammation to the endothelial lining that over the decades of use builds up with microvascular hemorrhaging, little tiny inflammation. And eventually, you increase the propensity of the blood vessels to hemorrhage and result in a premature death from a hemorrhagic stroke from your years of salt intake. And I'm saying right now that that weakening of the endothelial lining of blood vessels occurs outside of its effect on blood pressure. So even if you have normal blood pressure, you're still damaging the endothelial lining of blood vessels. In other words, excess salt doesn't suddenly become safe because a person's using excess salt. And you can tell these people are so ridiculous because they're saying, oh, this magic salt, this special salt, this natural salt that I use, all these salts have 2,250 milligrams of sodium per teaspoon, not per tablespoon, per teaspoon, right? And the amount of minerals isn't much as more than one tablespoon of lettuce would have. In other words, we're talking about the mineral content is insignificant. So just because heroin has minerals in it too, but it doesn't make it less poisonous, it's the poisonous content of the nicotine in the heroin, whether your cigarettes are organic or whether your salt comes from the backside of the moon or the rock of Gibraltar or the marijuana. We're talking here that little bit of natural substance in the salt doesn't transform an excess into now a harmless substance. So these are just people giving potentially dangerous advice. And unfortunately, the vast majority of advice people get about nutrition and about health is dangerous. In any case, we know that all the primitive tribes that don't salt their food and all the islands where they don't salt their food, we don't see heart attacks and strokes. And the leading cause of death in the modern world today is still cardiovascular death in adults. And salt is probably the leading cause of that. And yes, to your question is, does some people need salt? And also adrenal fatigue is also a junk diagnosis. It's almost meaningless. There's no such thing as the person's been on steroids long term. Their adrenal glands could be shot, but still giving people, there's certain diseases that are very rare that can cause adrenal malfunction or something. But those are specific. There's no just kind of giving a diagnosis of these people have adrenal fatigue. That's not a real diagnosis. That means the doctor doesn't know what they're talking about, and they didn't pinpoint the cause of the problem, and they're just giving them a catchphrase like adrenal fatigue, which means nothing. The body doesn't, and also, yes, there are some conditions, salt-losing conditions, and even some people with POTS, we can sometimes have to use sodium in low amounts. We're trying to use as little as we possibly can, maybe measuring out 500 milligrams extra a day till we can get their condition controlled. And but don't forget those conditions where a doctor would have to use sodium judiciously and carefully. Even then, we're not just saying eat more sodium, take an extra tablespoon of sodium. We're actually measuring out what's the minimum amount of sodium we need to give this person additionally to control their medical symptoms. And we're not just haphazardly giving them out, huge amounts of salt, even in those cases. But in any case, then those are still really rare, But I want to speak out against this idea that we're going to take your hair and determine what supplements you're going to take, or even take your blood to determine that. You can't really get an effective supplemental regimen by thinking this doctor is going to test everything and figure out what you need. Because first of all, why not just first get your diet good first before you start testing people? First, let's see, how do you expect your body to have the right nutrients if you're not eating the right nutrients? Instead of analyzing your hair and your urine, why don't you just analyze your diet and see if you're getting enough? And as we said earlier, they're deficient in phytonutrients, antioxidants, fiber, with carotenoids, and we know they're all deficient because of what they're eating. That's the most important thing to analyze. Put it down on paper what you're eating. Let's see you eat some nutrients.